This channel is supported by Truefire.
Stop all that. The Truefire All Access membership, they've brought the price down for March Madness, they're calling it. So the cheapest you can get it any time of year is $99. It beats the codes that I normally tell you about. So I just wanted to shout that out here. So you get All Access membership for $99 for the year. You know, get into your Tim Millers, your Robin Fords, there's Larry Carlton stuff on there, there's Eric Johnson stuff on there. Like, all of our favourite players seem to have Truefire courses. Check that out. March Madness, it's mad. So, a few weeks back I bought this, which is the American Professional 2. As far as I'm aware, there's not a ton of actual upgrades from the American Professional series. I think slightly more rolled edges, V-Mod 2 pickups, and this, which is the roasted pine option. Now, what I must say that I do like about this guitar are the pine body, which actually I think we might start to see companies using pine as an option more often, because there's a shortage essentially of southern ash, and there's also apparently the alder that is being used these days is a little bit on the heavier side too. So if people are concerned about, you know, lighter weight guitars, this is a pine body, and this comes in at £7 4 ounces or 3.3 kilos. So that's a positive. I'd also say that the V-Mod pickups, I think, actually sound really pretty nice. Compared it to a custom shop, compared it to a PRS Silver Sky. I think these pickups do really stack up pretty well against. And then you do have this push thing, which adds the neck pickup with the bridge, so you get like the telly thing. Now here's where it kind of gets a little bit complicated for me. So what I noticed, this guitar, to me, it felt like the neck was a bit on the skinny side when I first played it, compared to some of my other guitars. So I had like a Player 2, I've got a Vintera 2, I've got the PRS Silver Sky, and it just felt a little bit, something was a bit off with the neck. Now, what I found out is that this is actually a 43mm nut, and they call it a deep C neck. In my opinion, their measurements show what they are, and it's absolutely not a thin neck, but I think there is something very different about this versus like a, I don't know, what the Vintera neck, for instance, where it's like something about either a lack of shoulders or something, or about the width, which does make it, in my opinion, feel skinnier than it in fact is. So I don't know whether that's, you know, that the shoulders are tapered, and then you kind of have like a bit of a wider feeling neck, or I don't know whether it's the 43mm nut or some combination of all those factors. But it does, to me at first play, sort of feel a little bit skinny. Over time, I've kind of come to appreciate a bit. And also, I think for some people that might find the more vintage nut style a bit cramped, this guitar is going to give you, you know, that extra millimetre of space. We got slightly more string spacing. So you're getting like a little bit more of a modern feel to it. I wouldn't say it necessarily plays like a vintage Strat, and you've also got this sculpted heel here, which is, you know, not really a game changer, but is a nod at making some effort. So I got this one for like 1,150, I think. It does have that thing where it sounds like a Fender Strat, right? Which I've found actually Fender Strats sound like the most Fender Stratty things that exist, basically. If it says Fender on the headstock for some reason, stop sitting on it. I've really come around to this guitar a little bit more than my first impression. I still think there's some things about it, particularly if I'd spent, you know, like the money that you spend on these to get them from brand new, which they're getting like 16, 17, 1800 pounds. I think it's kind of expensive for what you end up getting. Although if you get a good one that's lightweight like this, it's not necessarily that easy to find a lightweight, decent Strat type guitar in this kind of price range, except for like a PRS Silver Sky, some Tokai stuff, or of course in the used market there's a bunch of other options. But yeah, I don't know, I've sort of come around to it a bit more. As I said, the neck shape, it really is a little bit of a quirky one for me, where it's like, that feels skinny because of the shoulders, I think, is what it is. But it's kind of grown on me over time. And I can't really complain about too much about this guitar. Like, I think it looks good. It sounds really good as well, in my opinion. The tuning stability with the trem could be better, but it's not terrible. All round, I've ended up liking the Professional 2 a little bit more than I expected, and a little bit more than I did in the first instance, I think. Just a touch more girth to the neck, or some more shoulders, and I think it would have been a little bit more up my street. The satin finish does feel good. I think the poly stuff can feel a bit sticky if they go full gloss. So yeah, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. The American Professional 2, do you dig it? Was it an improvement on what came before? This is basically the American standard at this point, right? So yeah, it's what a Strat looks like in 2025.